Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm a mama, a writer, a podcast host of Ritual of Wild, and I am starting over at 41 creating a career that I love, turning my calling into career. So if you're on this journey too, welcome to my channel. I make videos that help mamas, women, and other people on their creative journey. And in these videos, I share what's helped me, and hopefully it can help you too. Today, this video is about playing by the rules that drain you and creating a system that you wish existed. These are 6 powerful shifts to stay rooted on your creative path. I have a book that I love, and it's called The Courage to Create, written by Rollo May. And in it, he says, if we are dissatisfied with the world, then we have to create something new. So if you're creating something from the heart like I am, or perhaps you have a calling that you would like to turn into a career, whether that's a project, a path, or a body of work, a new version of yourself and your life, and you feel like it's taking too long or that you're not seeing the results you hope for, then this is for you. If you stay through to the end, you'll walk away with 6 creative anchors to help you ground into what matters, even when things feel uncertain, quiet, or really hard. These are the reminders I return to again and again, and I offer them to you now with love. So I hope it helps. Number 1, go slow, go intentionally. Practice ritual over rush. There's an African proverb that I love, and it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. We all know that we live in a world that celebrates speed and is full of instant gratification. But what if we chose depth instead? What if we honored process over performance, truth over what's trending? The daily rituals you commit to, those quiet moments of consistency, are actually what shape the future. There's so much that a pause can offer you that rushing cannot. Pause is powerful because it yields to presence. And when we slow down with presence, we allow for a greater window of space to notice what's available to us. This isn't always glamorous, but it is sacred. So you can ask yourself, what am I tending to today that will nourish what I'm creating tomorrow? Number 2. Trust the invisible growth. There's a beautiful quote I love by Terence McKenna, and he says, you make the commitment and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a featherbed. I love that quote. Just because something isn't blooming yet doesn't mean it isn't alive. Creation has seasons, and roots come before blossoms. You wouldn't dig up a seed after a day of planting it to see if it's working. You trust that it is innate with all that it needs to be what it is blooming into. You trust the process. You trust the dark. You trust what you can't see yet. Sort of like a baby in a womb where it is dark and yet so much life force is taking place without you having to constantly check on it. In this space, you can ask yourself, can I honor the unseen phases of this creation as necessary and alive? Number 3. Don't sacrifice the dream by avoiding the sacrifice. There's a saying that goes, if you are not willing to make the sacrifices that are being asked of you in the process of creating that which you want to make manifest, then that which you want to make manifest becomes the sacrifice. To birth something meaningful will always require something of you. Sometimes we're asked to make sacrifices, comfort, old identities, outdated stories, things like that, so that we don't end up sacrificing the dream itself. This is about radical creative responsibility. You are the keeper of this vision. You are the one who said yes. Who should care more than you? No one else is going to build the dream the way you can. And so it's really powerful to notice, where can you take creative accountability when it comes to your vision? You can ask yourself, what am I willing to release to stay true to what I am building? Number 4, be the guardian of your vision. You might be the only one who sees it clearly at first. You might feel things that your mind can't quite understand that your heart is expressing to you. The thing about our heart and our mind is that our heart can conceive beyond the senses, but our minds can only perceive on a linear plane. Most of the time we think or overanalyze our way through things, or we get so stuck in our feelings that our ideas become these beautiful ideas that never get tending to. But creation is a both and process. And so being radically open to the dialogue that could take place between both the heart and the mind can be both impactful and powerful when it comes to taking actionable steps to building that which we dream of, even if those steps are imperfect expression. In fact, I encourage it, just as I show up in these videos imperfectly, most of the time not really knowing what I'm doing, but really just going for it. Because one of my teachers taught me, if your heart is in the right place, even your mistakes are just right. And just giving yourself that grace, knowing that if you mess up, it's okay, because there's some things that messing up can teach you that success cannot. And it's all a part of that creative process. It is not a fraction of it. It is not separate from it, but it is the whole of it. And if we focus so much on the outcome instead of who we are and who we be as we evolve deeper into the journey, then it's really easy to get sidetracked from the powerful transformation that is happening both within you and around you, by allowing all aspects of the journey be a part of it and not apart from it. And so when you speak life into it, protect it from your own self-doubt. Notice the self-doubt. You don't have to separate yourself from the self-doubt, but just witness that it's there. And perhaps the bigger question can become, how do I eradicate self-doubt? How about instead you can ask yourself, how can I lean into courage knowing that self-doubt will exist? The latter question allows you to cultivate a more powerful relationship with self, so that when self-doubt arises, your trust within and your relationship with self will be stronger than the inner critic of that self-doubt. So let it evolve, let it breathe, let it shape you as much as you shape it. You can ask yourself, how can I show up as a devoted steward to this idea? What might the version of me that is stewarding this with love and care, how might it meet this idea this day and this moment? Number 5, speaking of inner critic, befriend the inner critic. Carl Jung has this beautiful quote that I love, and he says, "What is unconscious must be rendered conscious, otherwise it'll rule our life and we'll mistake it as fate." The more expansive the dream, the louder the doubt. Sometimes we can mistake this loud doubt as, oh my gosh, this is not a good idea, when really the louder the doubt, it is more indicative that not that something's wrong, but that perhaps we're doing something different. Our brains are wired for safety, and it will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. The critic inside of you is not your truth. It's a defense mechanism to keep you safe from turning towards that which is different than what you would have normally done before, or what is ordinarily what you'd orient to before. And that's okay. Just know that instead of trying to silence it, you can meet it with wonder and curiosity. Ask yourself, what if this discomfort is not a sign to stop, but a sign I'm stepping into something new? When we tend to the soil of our own thoughts, there is this deep invitation to be kind and be patient and to speak to ourselves like we're someone worth rooting for, because we are, and you are. And so how might you meet yourself with compassion and care in those times when, especially when it's uncomfortable? Number 6, stay open to the mystery. Yes, have a plan, but hold it with soft hands. Things rarely unfold the way we expect, and detours often lead to deeper alignment. The truth is, it will always co-create with you when you are open to the synergistic, energetic dance taking place between your creations, your ideas, and what is moving through you. We make plans and God laughs, right? So we could go slow, go intentionally, but also go with wonder. Notice what comes up. In moments where I am frazzled, I have learned to meet myself and pause. Pausing is powerful because it allows me to orient to what is stirring within me, even if it's uncomfortable. And I don't always love this part of the creative process or the human experience. But truth be told, it's been one of the most impactful ways that has allowed me to create more space and expand the frame of reference, as Mel Robbins calls it, the lens through which we see the world. It expands it in a way that I can notice things that I otherwise would not when my mind is overfilled with clutter of thoughts and things that get in the way of that space. You could think of this as a proverbial energetic decluttering of all the ways our stories take up space rent-free in our body and our minds. And the more we become aware of it, like the quote that I shared with Carl Jung, the more we can choose to release them, or at the very least notice that they're there. And so when I pause, something that's helped me is creating this acronym PAUSE, placing awareness under surface expression. Because everything we express on the surface is rooted to a deeper wound or energetic complacency that has calcified within us that hasn't yet been met. And so those things can come up first when we're feeling really sticky energy or triggered around something that might come up, like self-doubt or insecurity and things like that. So when that happens, stay open to the mystery and pause. Because what if the twists and turns aren't a sign that you've failed, but an invitation to become someone even more attuned to the dream? Our dreams do not eradicate discomfort. In fact, our dreams include them so that we can cultivate that resiliency. So just notice what comes up the more you lean into what feels sacred, what feels aligned within you. You can ask yourself, what magic might emerge if I surrender control and stay open to the mystery? And finally, I just want to say, you don't have to have it all figured out. I'm going to be 42 next month. I have no idea what I'm doing. And quite frankly, I just have chosen to not give as much shit about how I look because I feel so connected with my heart. So if I fumble as I do this, I have learned to cultivate meeting grace and compassion for what's moving through me. I really think of my teacher's wisdom that said, if your heart is in the right place, then even your mistakes are just right. And what's even more powerful is that if you stay honest with yourself and cultivate a relationship with your vision, what subsequently happens is you begin to trust yourself. And so I invite you to explore. Can you trust yourself? Like really trust yourself, and noticing that invitation. If energetically something becomes activated in the body, when I say the words trust myself, I'm actually noticing an ease in my solar plexus, which before sometimes that would get really knotted up and anxious. And now it just feels a little bit more calm. I feel like the more I embrace my weirdness, and weird meaning not trying to fit into any boxes I spent most of my life trying to fit in, but rather creating a system where my whole self is welcome and I can just be who I am and honor the powerful creative energy that's moving through me, then it leads to something pretty cool. And I'm just so open to what that is. So trust yourself, because if you don't, how can anyone else? So I'd love to know in the comments, what are your 6 anchors that are resonating with you the most? Out of these 6 anchors, what's resonating with you the most? And where are you in your creative journey right now? Are you a mama? Are you a woman that's starting over in some iteration of her life and you don't know where to begin? Maybe you're scared. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel and you're afraid that someone else is doing what you already talk about and you feel like it's not trending. I have met all of those things. And the thing is, you are you and I am me, and no one can express it in the way that you uniquely can through your beautiful, powerful voice, which is such a privilege to use to express. And so I would love to offer you one bonus anchor, which is to create the system you wish existed. If you don't like the systems you find yourself in, the pace, the pressure, the disconnection, the overriding of the cues within your body because you feel some overarching obligation you need to tend to that obliterates your own self-care, you don't have to keep participating in that. Creation is your birthright. Whether it's how you work, how you share, or how you live, even how you rest, you can choose to build a rhythm and a structure and a way of being that reflects what you actually value. Imagine being in a world where the cadence through which your pace is honored and your natural cycles of life are welcome, and you're not always rushing past life when so much of it is happening even in the mundane. So my living prayer through this video is that I hope you are brave enough to question what you've inherited, to be bold enough to create what feels true. And if that feels so out of reach right now, you could even ask yourself, what would it feel like to create from a place that honors my humanity, my nervous system, my values? And to go even deeper, you can even sit with, what are my values? Have you reflected on what means most to you? Because our values, what we've grown to care about, and this can change throughout the seasons of our life, is what will be the roots of our creations and the way through which we live our life, which is a lot. It means a lot. And if your value system isn't honored in the one that you're currently participating in, then it begs the question, is this the way you want to spend your time? What is possible when I orient towards my inner scape and get real about my relationship with myself and what I want to create? Because the world is abundant and we are all innately worthy of creating that which is alive in our heart. And so I really hope these 6 anchors help you. And if you want to connect more deeply with my work or explore how we can work together, I think I said that in the same way the second time. See, still learning. You can check out my Instagram and my Substack in the notes. And I'm just so honored that you're here. Please like and subscribe to this video. And I just wish you so much love and radical openness to your creative journey. I'll see you in the next video.